Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and my 28-week pregnancy update. 28 weeks means that I'm officially in my third trimester, which feels like the home stretch. I feel like time's just gonna run away with me now, and the baby's gonna be here before I know it. In reality, I know that the last sort of half of the third trimester usually feels like more of a marathon than a sprint, so I know that time will slow down an awful lot towards the end, but it's just hard to believe that I'm that far into it already, and it's just a matter of, well, it's 12 weeks roughly, give or take, until we have our new baby in our family, which is just so exciting. I feel like my updates are so similar, which is why I don't do them sort of every single week, because I don't feel like things are changing enough to do one every week. But I still feel really good, to be honest. My energy levels are pretty high and I'm getting a decent-ish sleep, apart from the last couple of nights where Aiden has had a tickly cough, which has kept him and me awake for most of the night over the weekend. But other than that, my sleep is okay. My pregnancy pillow really helps me to get comfortable. The baby has recently been moving a lot more at night time. It used to be more in the evening when I'd sit down to watch TV, but now all of a sudden it seems to be when I want to go to sleep. So it's just a case of kind of trying to zone out and just kind of go to sleep and try not to let that keep me awake. I would say the biggest thing for me this past week or so has been about my own like confidence and feeling a lot bigger all of a sudden, and not just in the sense of my kind of body image and how I feel about that, but also just noticing how much you slow down as you get bigger. And of course I've been here before, so I knew it was coming, but it is always a bit of a shock to find that you can't walk that far all of a sudden without getting pain or discomfort, or just feeling knackered, or, you know, bending over is like, the struggle is huge. Bending over to put on my shoes is just hilarious. I have always loved being pregnant. I always feel really happy in my own skin when I'm pregnant. I just like how I look and feel when I'm pregnant. But even if you do love being pregnant and how your body looks and things like that, you're still, I'm pretty sure most women will still have the odd day where they're like, oh, nothing fits and I just look like a whale. And so for all the days that I love it, which are most of them, there are still some days where I just want to cry. And in fact, I did have a really hormonal weepy day on the weekend, where my poor husband, he was so lovely as well, and he said all the right things, but I just had a bit of a teary moment where I just kind of let it all out and just told him that I was feeling really uncertain of myself. I knew I was going out that weekend for a meal, and so I was trying things on and just feeling really like crap about myself. I don't think it helps that we're coming up to summer, and I know I'm going to obviously be at my biggest when everybody else is kind of mooching about in summer dresses and little strappy tops. I'm going to be basically wearing a sack. I think what I've noticed in the last week or so is that I am definitely putting on weight all over, which I think I must look back at my other pregnancies with rose tinted glasses and I think, oh, that didn't happen last time. I'm sure it did, and it's just me kind of not remembering it accurately, but I feel like last time I didn't put on so much weight on my bum and thighs, for instance, and my arms. But then I'm trying to be really relaxed about it and just go with the flow and think, you know, this is the last time I'm going to be pregnant and be carrying a baby. Embrace it and just worry about it afterwards. I think it's really helping that I've bought a few items that I feel really nice in and that are comfortable and flattering at the moment. I've actually made a video about my maternity capsule wardrobe, which I will link up at the top of the screen so you can check it out. But that is definitely helping me to avoid those days where I just feel like I look awful in everything. Having said that about feeling really massive, I actually had a midwife appointment last week or the week before, I'm losing track. Recently, I had a midwife appointment recently, and she did the usual measurements, and she was a bit concerned that the baby was measuring small. Now I tend to I've had this before with Aiden. I was measuring like a week or so behind my due date, and I think this could be rubbish, so please ignore me if it is, but I feel like because I'm quite tall, the baby has more room, like lengthways, and doesn't seem to, I don't know, that's probably rubbish, so I should stop saying that just in case. But she measured me in the standard way that they do, and she said, I was borderline, like the baby was on the lowest percentile on the chart, and she said it is literally on the line, and you're borderline whether or not we would need to send you for a growth scan to check that the baby's growing. But she said because you're on the line, I'm happy to leave it and just see how you measure next time you come, and I'm actually going again next week now. I'm not worried about it because Aiden always seemed to measure a little bit smaller than he should, and when he was born he was 8 pounds and ½ an ounce, so he was by no means small. So I think it's just the way I carry babies. So hopefully everything will be fine when I go for my next midwife appointment, which is next week. I definitely feel like I've grown a lot, so I'm sure. And I said to her as well, she measured me first thing in the morning, it was an early appointment. If she measured me last thing at night, I'm fairly positive that the baby would not be measuring small. I seem to get like visibly bigger in the evening than I am in the morning. I'm guessing that's pretty normal, but I am much, much larger at night time. Other than that, the baby seems really happy and moving a lot. I'm feeling so much movement now, it's amazing, and really quite sort of strong movements and a lot higher up. I'm feeling it kind of kicking around near my ribs a lot, and I haven't had any of the nasty lightning crotch, nasty pains down below for a while actually, so I don't know whether it's just sitting a little bit higher at the moment, which is nice. And the movement is really visible now from the outside. Like I'll be lying in bed looking at my tummy and it's kind of doing that cool thing where it kind of morphs and moves around, which I find it so fascinating. It's a little bit weird to see, especially the first time around. I remember being really freaked out by it, but as I've had more pregnancies, I look forward to that bit because it just all feels so real when you can actually see the baby moving and like an elbow popping out the side of your tummy. It's really cool. Because I'm feeling that much further along, and I know now obviously I'm in the 3rd trimester, so I'm thinking a lot more now about the labour and delivery and preparing for that. I have had 2 home births previously, and my first baby was born in like a midwife-led unit in what do they call it, birthing pool, and then we bought our own birthing pool for babies 2 and 3, and they were born at home. Actually, right here, we moved the table and they were born in the water there. I'm planning to do that again if all goes well and I'm able to. That's fully my intention to have a home birth. We need to actually dig out the birthing pool because it's been in storage for a while, and we need to give it a bit of a test run and check that it's not got any punctures and things like that. And what you do when you have your own pool, you just buy a new sterile liner every time, or 2 sterile liners, so you've got a spare and another one, and that makes sure that the pool is like completely hygienic and clean and sterile for the birth of your baby. So my preparation for the birth is going to be very similar to what I've done before, and I'm actually planning, if anyone would be interested, to do a video on how I prepare for a home water birth. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments below. The only real difference this time around is that I'm hoping to give hypnobirthing a try. I can't believe I've never tried it before, to be honest. I've always done pregnancy yoga, which kind of, there's elements of kind of, not hypnobirthing, but that sort of getting yourself into the zone kind of thing, and that I always feel like the techniques I learned through pregnancy yoga really helped me in labour. So I know that hypnobirthing would be good for me, I'm fairly certain it would. So I've been doing a lot of research and looking at different websites and different ways of getting involved with hypnobirthing. Friends of mine who've done hypnobirthing and it's worked really well for them have started around the 30-week mark, so I need to get a wriggle on and sort out exactly what it is that I want to do. According to my pregnancy app, the baby is still the size of a papaya, which, if you've seen my last pregnancy update, which I'll link up here, you will understand why my daughter is so frustrated by that. She's desperate for it to move on to week 29, I think, is when it changes to a winter squash. And that's what she's excited about. She just wants it to be a new fruit. It's been this fruit for 3 weeks now and she's had enough of a papaya. So it weighs now between 660 and 1,000 grams and the length is between 34 to 37 centimeters. So no wonder I'm feeling it right up in my ribs and like right down low on my bump as well at the same time. It's getting pretty big now. So that's everything for my 28-week update. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any of my videos, and I'll see you in my next one.